You ever wonder why your success bothers people so much? Why some smiles fade right when you need them the most? Why the higher you rise, the quieter the world around you gets? Maybe it's because the success you carry makes the mediocrity around you bleed from the inside. This video isn't about easy wins. It's about the price of moving forward, when the whole world is secretly hoping you'll stop. Those looks that say congrats, but quietly wish you'd fall. And if you've ever felt that, then this video isn't just a reflection, it's a mirror. There's a kind of pain no one talks about, a kind of rejection that doesn't come from failure, but from excellence. A discomfort that doesn't show up when you fall, but when you start to rise. Being authentic in a world that survives on mutual approval is almost an act of war, a silent rebellion against everything people accepted as normal. And whoever dares to break that cycle pays a high price. Because being real is, in itself, a direct threat to all the lies others told themselves just to sleep at night. It's the raw, unfiltered truth. The cost of not being mediocre is living surrounded by fake supporters and disguised enemies, and still choosing to keep climbing. Because if everyone loves you, it probably means you're still on their level. You're not envied for what you have, you're hated for what you represent. Your light shows the loser everything they'll never be. That's why the higher you go, the more fake smiles you'll see. Hate doesn't come from envy over what you own. It comes from the deep discomfort your existence causes by being outside the mold. The light you carry is a brutal reminder to those who wasted their lives settling. You're living proof that they could have been more, and that destroys them from the inside. The loser doesn't hate your victory. He hates what it exposes, that the world never really stopped anyone. It just revealed who was too weak to fight for real. That's why he smiles when he sees you, but bleeds on the inside. Your success isn't admired, it's feared, because it proves his excuses were lies. With every step you take upward, more people show up pretending to root for you. But eyes don't lie. That look that says congrats often hides the silent wish for your downfall, because your rise shatters the comfortable illusion that we're all the same. Real victory doesn't inspire, it exposes. It doesn't just show what you've achieved, it lays bare what others denied themselves. In a society where it's easier to hide behind excuses than face your own mediocrity, someone else's success becomes a brutal mirror. Not because of envy over your car, your house, or your status, but because when they look at you, they see the version of themselves they could have become if they had actually tried. And that hurts more than any public humiliation, because it's an internal failure that no one needs to point out. It's just there, reflected in your existence. Nietzsche called this resentment, when someone, unable to achieve for themselves, starts to hate everything that symbolizes achievement. Instead of admitting to their own cowardice or laziness, they twist the meaning of what you've done. Your discipline becomes arrogance. Your effort becomes luck. Your shine becomes a threat. It's the defense mechanism of the frustrated soul, something Freud also explored. Projecting onto others the pain we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves. And the worst part? That pain doesn't scream. It bleeds silently. Behind every "I'm happy for you" is a war you can't see, but you can definitely feel. Modern behavioral psychology calls this cognitive dissonance, the discomfort that hits when reality contradicts someone's beliefs. When you succeed, you prove it was possible. And suddenly, every excuse they told themselves falls apart. The world wasn't unfair. Life wasn't cruel. The truth is, they just didn't do it. And accepting that, almost unbearable. That's why it's easier to resent you than to rewrite their own story. Your success becomes a constant reminder of everything they denied, buried, and repressed. It's not about you. It never was. It's about what you unknowingly shine a light on, and what they'd rather keep in the dark. Not every threat comes from someone shouting at you. Some come from those clapping the loudest. There's a kind of hostility way more dangerous than open attacks, the kind that wears a smile, comes close with compliments, and offers support with hidden motives. At a certain point, success stops pushing away just the weak and starts attracting the disguised. People who can't stand what you've accomplished, but need to stay close, to watch, to take advantage, or at worst, to sabotage. That's when the journey changes tone. Winning no longer means battling self-doubt. It means walking through a minefield of friendly smiles and hidden agendas. Carl Jung said we all carry a shadow, the hidden side of ourselves that holds everything we don't want to face. When you start to shine, you awaken the shadows of others. But unlike direct attacks born from resentment, fake allies wear social masks. Psychology calls this the persona, the role someone plays to fit into society. And when the persona wants to hide envy, it puts on the costume of admiration. I'm so happy for you. You deserve it all. But the eyes give it away. The long silence when you share good news. The selective memory when you need support in return. The signs are subtle but very real. Robert Greene, in the 48 Laws of Power, warned about this clearly. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. But the most dangerous situation? When you can't tell which is which. A fake ally doesn't show their hand right away. They slip in, they test boundaries. And most times, they only reveal themselves after you've opened too many doors. That's why, for anyone who's truly rising, success demands constant awareness. Not out of fear, but out of clarity, because not all support is sincere, and not every presence is a blessing. The fake ally doesn't want you to fall, not just yet. They want to be there when it happens, to watch it up close. Some battles are never declared, but you know when you're in one. There are no screams, no open attacks, just a heavy silence, an atmosphere thick with something no one has the guts to admit. The room shifts when you walk in. Conversations slow down, laughter ends just half a second too late, and then comes the stare, that look that lasts barely 2 seconds, but carries a ton of judgment and rivalry. The war isn't in what's said, it's in what never gets spoken, but hangs in the air between you and everyone else, like a wire stretched to its breaking point. And the more you grow, the more those stares appear. Nonverbal behavior psychology shows that 93% of human communication happens without words, according to Albert Mehrabian's research. But it's Paul Ekman who teaches us how to catch the micro-expressions, those flickers of disdain, envy, or competitiveness that flash across a face before being pushed down. A raised eyebrow, a smile that ends before it starts, a look that cuts through you like your very presence is a problem. These signs, often ignored, are proof of silent battles you're fighting without even realizing. Because your success creates a force field around you, and not everyone can stand inside it without shaking. Those looks carry the weight of what others haven't dealt with in themselves. And the more authentic you become, the more unbearable you are to people who live behind a mask. You become the trigger, a walking reminder of everything they've postponed, hidden, or denied. And the cruelest part, you can't fight back. You can't call out a stare. You can't defend yourself from silence. That's part of the game. A game where you win, but can't celebrate out loud. Because deep down, you know, your joy feels like an offense to the ones around you. The war is invisible, but the damage, very real. And it's in this silent battlefield that true strength shows itself, in the one who doesn't need to prove anything, just keeps going. There comes a point in the journey where the silence around you speaks louder than any applause. People disappear, the compliments stop, the messages slow down. Not because you did something wrong, but because you didn't stop. Most people support your growth until it surpasses theirs. And when you cross that invisible line, something shifts. You're no longer seen as inspiring, you're seen as a threat. That's when loneliness shows up. Not the kind that screams abandonment, but the subtle kind, the kind that makes you feel like you don't belong anymore. But there's a secret most don't realize, that loneliness isn't punishment, it's a filter. And it's only when you walk through that emptiness that you uncover the hidden power that's always been inside you. The philosopher Soren Kierkegaard said that true faith is born when a person stands completely alone before life. Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, said that a human being can endure any suffering as long as they have a reason why. That's exactly it. When you have no one left to explain yourself to, That's when you start finding yourself. The absence of cheerleaders forces you to build inner discipline. The lack of external support pushes you to dig deeper into your own soul. And in that process, harsh but revealing, a different kind of strength is born. One that doesn't rely on applause. One that doesn't need approval to be real. One that exists even when no one's watching. Modern psychology calls this motivational self-regulation, the ability to keep acting with purpose even when there's no immediate reward. And that's what separates those who shine out of instinct from those who shine out of conviction. Rising when everyone's watching is one thing, but rising when no one is, that's greatness. And yes, it hurts. Sometimes it feels unfair, but the loneliness of those who don't quit, that's sacred. Because in that silence, you hear the only voice that truly matters, your own. And when it says keep going, you realize this journey is more than just elevation. It's transcendence. You're not alone. You're just walking the path where the real ones walk, in silence, in peace, and always upward. If there's one thing this video made clear, it's that the path of authenticity is expensive, but lying to yourself costs way more. You're going to make people uncomfortable. You're going to lose some. You'll feel the weight of silence, of stares, of absence. But at the end of the day, what matters isn't how many people clap for you. It's how many can look you in the eye and still don't try to dim your light. So tell me, have you ever felt like your success pushed away people who once claimed to be on your side? Drop it in the comments, because maybe what you've got to say is exactly what someone else out there needs to hear right now. And if this message hit something inside you, if it gave words to a feeling you've been carrying alone, leave a like. It helps this video reach someone else who's walking this same road in silence and needs to know they're not alone. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Each video here is an invitation to clarity, and clarity takes courage.